Amelia the detective hunts a stolen goblet. We publish a new bedtime read-along story every night, so make sure to tap the subscribe button so you never miss any. Part 1, The Mystery Begins. Amelia was sitting at her desk, bored out of her mind. She had finished her homework and was feeling restless. Suddenly, the postman knocked on her door and handed her a letter. The envelope was plain and white, with no return address. Curious, Amelia opened it and read the contents. The letter was short and to the point. It read, "Dear Amelia, I need your help. A priceless goblet of fire has been stolen from the local museum. The museum is offering a reward to anyone who can recover it. I cannot go to the police, but I know you have the skills to help. Meet me at the museum tomorrow at 10 a.m. if you're willing to take on the case. Sincerely, a concerned citizen." Amelia was intrigued. She had never been approached by an anonymous client before, and the idea of solving a museum heist sounded exciting. She decided to take on the case and made a mental note to be at the museum at 10 a.m. the next day. The next morning, Amelia arrived at the museum bright and early. She was greeted by the curator, who gave her some background information on the stolen goblet. The goblet was an ancient artifact, rumored to have been used in a ceremony that involved fire magic. It was considered priceless due to its historical and cultural significance. Amelia asked the curator about the security measures in place at the museum, and he explained that there were security cameras and guards, but somehow the thief had managed to bypass them all. Amelia was impressed by the thief's skill and wondered who could be behind the theft. As she was leaving the museum, Amelia caught a glimpse of a figure in a hooded cloak watching her from a distance. She couldn't make out their face, but she had a feeling that they were somehow involved in the theft. Amelia made a mental note to keep an eye out for the mysterious figure. Amelia left the museum feeling determined to solve the case. She had a lot of work to do and knew that it wouldn't be easy, but she was ready for the challenge. The mystery had just begun, and Amelia couldn't wait to see where it would take her. Part 2, A Clue in the Forest. After leaving the museum, Amelia decided to do some investigating on her own. She remembered the mysterious figure she had seen earlier and wondered if they could be the key to solving the case. She decided to follow them and see where they went. The figure led Amelia to a dense forest on the outskirts of town. Amelia hesitated for a moment, knowing that the forest was rumored to be haunted. But her curiosity got the better of her, and she decided to follow the figure into the woods. Amelia crept through the trees, trying to stay out of sight. She could hear the crunch of leaves under her feet and the rustle of branches as she pushed through the underbrush. Eventually, she caught sight of the figure again, moving deeper into the forest. As she followed, Amelia noticed that the figure seemed to be leaving a trail of breadcrumbs. She wondered if it was intentional, or if they were simply dropping crumbs as they walked. Amelia decided to follow the trail and see where it led. After several minutes of walking, Amelia came across an abandoned cabin. The door was ajar, and she could hear rustling coming from inside. She approached the cabin cautiously, keeping her detective senses alert. Amelia pushed the door open and stepped inside. The cabin was dusty and old, with cobwebs covering the corners. She could hear movement coming from one of the rooms, and she tiptoed towards the sound. As she approached the room, Amelia heard a rustling sound coming from inside. She pushed the door open and found herself face to face with a large rat. She jumped back in surprise, but then noticed something on the ground next to the rat. It was a key. Amelia picked up the key and examined it. It was old and rusty, but it looked like it might fit a lock. She wondered if it was related to the stolen goblet and decided to keep it as evidence. With the key in hand, Amelia left the cabin and continued her investigation. She wondered if there was a lock or safe somewhere that the key might fit, and decided to keep her eyes open for any clues. The mystery was deepening, and Amelia felt more determined than ever to solve the case. She had a feeling that the key was just the beginning of a much larger puzzle, and she was eager to piece it together. Part 3, The Goblet is Recovered. With the key in hand, Amelia continued her investigation into the stolen goblet. She wondered if there was a lock or safe somewhere that the key might fit, and decided to keep her eyes open for any clues. As she walked through town, Amelia noticed an old antique store that she had never seen before. She had a feeling that it might be worth checking out, so she decided to stop in. The store was dimly lit, with shelves of dusty antiques lining the walls. Amelia could hear the soft tinkling of a bell as she entered, signaling her presence to the store owner. A small, elderly man with wire-rimmed glasses emerged from a back room and greeted her. "Good afternoon, young lady," he said in a raspy voice. "What can I help you with today?" Amelia explained that she was a detective investigating the theft of a goblet of fire and showed him the key she had found in the forest. The store owner examined the key closely and then disappeared into the back room. After a few minutes, he returned with a small, dusty chest. He inserted the key into the lock and turned it with a click. Inside, Amelia saw a glimmering goblet of fire. It was the missing artifact. Amelia couldn't believe her luck. She had solved the case. But then the store owner revealed a shocking truth. "I'm afraid I must confess," he said. "I am the one who stole the goblet. I couldn't resist its beauty, and I knew I could sell it for a hefty price on the black market. But I regret my decision now. Please, take the goblet and return it to the museum. I will accept whatever punishment comes my way." Amelia was taken aback by the store owner's honesty. She knew that stealing was wrong, but she also knew that people made mistakes. She decided to give him the benefit of the doubt and handed the goblet over to him to return to the museum. As she left the antique store, Amelia reflected on the case. She had solved the mystery and recovered the stolen artifact, but she had also learned a valuable lesson about forgiveness and understanding. She knew that being a detective was about more than just solving cases. It was about being a force for good in the world. Amelia smiled to herself as she walked home, feeling proud of what she had accomplished. The mystery had come to an end, but Amelia knew that there would always be more adventures waiting for her in the future. The end. Do you want to hear more stories? Then hit the subscribe button to follow our channel, so you never miss another daily story. And keep listening now, as more stories will play shortly.